Hey, hey, hey. There is a God who hears all our prayers. There is a God. Yes, there is a God who answers. There is a God in heaven. It's a song by Kathy Praise. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. All of our prayers. Share the video if you can. Praise. And he answers whenever he prays. He hears all of our prayers. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, he hears you. Yes, Lord. Yes, 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 yes. There's a Lord that hears your prayers. Yes, yes, Lord. Yes, there's Lord. Yes, 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 yes. Why, Mungo? There's a God that hears our prayer. Yes, Lord. Yes, we give yourself to not part. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Lord. Yes, 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 yes. I hope somebody's going to get encouraged when they listen to this. I have no rights to these songs. Yes, yes, yes. Unasikia, God hears your prayers. Yes, yes, He hears your prayers. He answers it. Yes, 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 He hears it. He answers your prayer. If you're crying there in silence, if you're crying in the showers, you're crying at night, please remember God hears you. He hears you. He hears you. He hears you. Yes, yes. Encourage somebody today. Love somebody today. There's a Lord out there who hears your prayers. It's not in silence, believe me. It's not in vain. It's not in vain, believe me. I've been there, I've been there. So, yes, there's a God out there. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, how are you guys doing today? Leo, we are going to discuss the importance of counseling. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that you can help somebody else. The reason why I do all these informational videos is for you to help somebody else. It's not, if it's not for you, remember it might be your daughter one day, or me, I've had to help my daughter one day with the information that I'm giving you guys. Or this information, you can use it to help your neighbor, to help your friend, a family neighbor, because a lot of us, we think it's not going to be us, but you never know if it's going to be you. So the importance of counseling. Today we're discussing counseling. Let me tell you, counseling was the most important thing that I ever did when I went through domestic violence. And I stayed in counseling for years in order for me to heal from the pain. A lot of times, most of the women who go, survivors who go through domestic violence, they are scared. And, you know, our background, if you're from Africa, really, when people hear that you're in counseling, even when they tell you to go for counseling, you feel like, why should I go for counseling? It's not me. We need to go together. A lot of times women think that they should go together with their husbands. Yes, you can try to get him, but if he is not able to go, please seek counseling for yourself. For yourself. Because either you will learn how to cope in that marriage, or you will learn how to walk away. Either or, both are okay. So if you want to stay in the marriage, go to counseling for yourself to give you confidence. I have women who never left their husbands. They stayed after they went for counseling. Their husbands didn't go for counseling, but they learned to stand their grounds. They learned to be able to say no. So domestic violence, also remember, is something that impacts someone's mental health. So you you start feeling ugly. You start feeling stupid, even though you're not. You could be a university graduate, but because of domestic violence, because you're being called stupid all the time, you end up believing it. And in your mind, even though you know very well you're not stupid, but it's if you repeat that to yourself every time, somebody repeats it to you every time, you're stupid, you start believing it. So domestic violence deals, it affects your mental health. So it's important to go for counseling. Now, another thing is domestic violence survivors are at risk of developing post traumatic stress disorder, okay? Substance abuse or stress related mental health conditions. Yes, people who go through domestic violence, they have post traumatic stress disorder. You become so stressed. A lot of these women, they suffer in silence. They can't tell anybody. They are crying in their rooms. They only have their kids sometimes who they can talk to. They don't even have an adult to talk to. And even if they have family around them, have you ever been lonely? You're lonely. You're in a marriage that has many people. You are around people, but you feel alone. That is how domestic abuse survivors and victims feel. They're alone. They're with people, but they're alone. So why it's important to go for counseling, because you learn to you have somebody who you can talk to in private, somebody who will keep your information confidential. Confidentiality is an issue for domestic violence victims, for reasons you don't want to be talked about. You don't want your information being out there. You're a human being. You don't want your stuff talked out there. So survivors can have upsetting memories or flashbacks. A lot of people, somebody called you stupid today, it sticks in your mind tomorrow, today, the next day, the next week. I remember in my case, I do not think the physical abuse stuck. I think what stuck was the mental abuse, the name calling, the things that was told to me. Those are the things that stuck. So one of the reasons you have to go for counseling is because survivors can have upsetting memories or flashbacks, fear or sense of danger. Let me tell you, a lot of people fear when they're in those. They don't know if they will die. I know a relative who they fear for their life. Either the guy will kill him, kill her, or kill himself, or something like that. So these are things that we will push you to actually go for. You need to go for counseling. Also, they may feel numb or disconnected from the rest of the world. Yes, that is isolation. One of the things that happens to domestic violence victims is isolations. So here's a case whereby you're stuck in the house, you're isolated, you start you're disconnected with the world, because one of the things domestic perpetrators do is they isolate you from the rest of the world. If you're new in this country, they make sure that you don't have friends. They start telling you, oh, I don't like going around I don't want people telling us what to do and all that. So slowly by slowly you become isolated, because you start listening to what he's saying. And when you're isolated, you get disconnected from the world. So that disconnection can cause mental issues, can cause depression, can cause fear, can cause all these things. That's why counseling is important. Also, another thing about domestic violence that is important also is that counselors are non-judgmental. They are third-party advisors who listen and can help survivors work through the things that they're experiencing. Did you hear that? So a counselor will not judge you. They will not tell you, because one thing that domestic perpetrators do is that they make you feel guilty of things that are not even like problematic. They make you feel that because you fought back, maybe he was hitting you and you pushed him, and then you start feeling guilty that, oh my God, he's gonna say that I also hit him. So you're scared of even reporting when he hit you, because you said, oh, yesterday he hit me and I pushed him back. He slapped me and maybe I slapped him back, or things like that. So you start feeling like maybe somebody will judge you, and then don't remember that they also use your past. So abusers will use your past. So here's a case whereby they imprison you with your past. You're scared of talking about your past out there. You don't want anybody knowing. So I want to tell you that counselors are non-judgmental. They won't judge you whether you have paper or whether you don't have papers. They're there to counsel you and to help you and to guide you. They're third-party advisors who listen and can help survivors work through the things that they're experiencing. So you may not even be ready to leave. You just need somebody to talk to. A lot of times, when you're going for counseling, people think, oh, I'm going for counseling. She's going to tell me to leave him. She's going to tell me to do this. No, a counselor's job is not to tell you what to do. A counselor's job is not to tell you to leave him. Or a counselor's job is to help you work through your mind and to see, I remember I would go to counseling and all he would tell me is that, what's going on this week? And the whole week I'll just talk about, oh, I went through this, he did this happened. And after I lived there, I was feeling okay. So it's just a third party who won't judge you for what you're saying, who won't judge you for what is happening to you, whether you're being raped, or who will not judge you for what you decisions that you have made, poor decisions or good decisions that you've made, whatever decision that you made. Remember, counselor is not judgmental. So, and they can help you, they can help guide you through the things that they are experiencing. So remember that, okay? So a counselor learning to cope with residual emotional pain and fears is essential to healing. So here, a counselor will help you learn to cope with the pain that you're going through. So you're going through pain, you're going through some hurt, you're going through struggles, you're going through. So a counselor will help you do that. Another thing is that domestic violence counseling can be a crucial factor in emotional recovery from your domestic violence experience. After I left, I went for counseling, and also that will help you deal with the guilt. Remember, you have kids that you're dealing with. Some of you have teenagers, maybe that are also giving you problem at the same time. You have a lot of things going on. So remember, for me, the most important thing I can tell you, even if you're an immigrant, a counselor will help you speak the words that are happening. Let's say you're being abused and nobody else knows about your abuse, your neighbors, nothing. Your counselor can help you witness for that. Can when whatever you tell her is in confidence, and she can even help you write a letter to show that you're really being abused, because sometimes it's hard, especially when it comes to emotional abuse. It is hard to prove emotional abuse, so the only way is to go to a counselor to figure that out and help you figure it. I am a big supporter of counseling. I help women, but I'm not a counselor. I'm not a professional when it comes to telling you what to do. So what I do is I tell the women to go for counseling, and I help them locate one. A lot of people think, especially if you don't have income, a lot of people think, how am I going to find counseling? I don't make money. Well, domestic abuse centers have counseling for free, you know, and they will go by your income, and normally it ends up being free. And you can go for counseling. I tell people, whenever you start to you're going through domestic violence, you're not ready to leave, you're still trying to figure out what's happening to you, it is best to start going to a counselor privately. You can go to a counselor, and that way, let me put my batteries about to die. Hold on, ladies, hold on. Let me put this on. Okay. So, okay. I have to get. Why does it want me? Leave your device on and plug in. So this thing wants me to restart. Okay. So sorry about that. My battery was kind of dying on my laptop. So remember, counseling is essential because it can attest to the counselor will help you figure uh, out your feelings. That's what I'm trying to say. And lost my train of thought, but learning to cope. Okay, but domestic violence counseling can be a crucial factor in emotional recovery. So in recovery also, you've gone through it, you survived it, but some of those feelings still stay. Remember that um, when someone curses you and makes you feel horrible and makes you feel stupid and makes for years, if that goes on, a lot of these people have gone through this for even 10 years, it sticks on. So once you leave, it's important to seek counseling. Oh yeah, I remember now. I believe that you need to find counseling through the shelter. And the shelter, because these people are experiencing domestic violence, they're experiencing in letting you, because a lot of times it's not physical, it's emotional. You know, it starts with it starts with emotional, then it goes to physical. So the shelter people, they will help you. You can go for counseling without having to go to the shelter. I know the word shelter means you go live there, no, but a lot of these domestic abuse women's centers and shelters, they have outreach services. So take advantage of the outreach services at shelters. Okay. So many people struggle with depression, anxiety, stress, general emotional distress. Some people even experience PTSD following domestic violence. See the importance of counseling? Counseling services readily available can make people in abusive relationships feel more confident about leaving the abuser. I know a lot of women who have gone for counseling and they didn't leave their abuser because the counseling helped them gain their confidence. There's also some who, after counseling, they realized, hey, I need to leave. I can't stay in this. You can't. That's me. I had one leg in, one leg out, but counseling helped me realize I really deserved more. So if you're not ready to leave the abuse, if you're not ready to completely leave what's happening at your house, go ahead and get counseling and let it work its way for you to understand, and you can figure out whether you want to stay or not. Okay. So so it can help you feel more confident about leaving an abuser. It is hard to leave. They always say it takes a woman 7 times to leave domestic abuse situations. So counseling will help you figure that out. Counseling will help you figure out whether you want to leave or not, and it will give you the confidence you need. I know one lady who went for counseling. She stayed in her marriage, and she's one. I helped her get a counseling session, locate a counseling thing somewhere in New Jersey, those sides. And let me tell you, she's doing very well. Family going well, and everything is happy. So, support can make all the difference in whether or not someone leaves or not. Did you hear that? Support can make all the difference in whether or not someone leaves an abusive relationship, as well as outcome once they do. So, just having somebody to support you, somebody to say, to tell you, hey, hey, good job. I used to like the fact that my counselor would just want to know what's going on, and just telling. I didn't have anybody to celebrate the little progress that I used to do at home, whether it's just saying no or whether it's refusing to do something I didn't want, and I'd go there and celebrate. So you have a friend. I don't want to put it like that, but that's what it is. One of the benefits of domestic abuse counseling, okay, is that it minimizes the negative beliefs held by the survivor. Okay, so a lot of times the person has told you you're stupid. The person has told you you're not. You're like the person has told you you're frigid because you don't want sex because he abuses you, so you don't want to have sex with him. Excuse me, I have allergies. So it minimizes the negative beliefs that held by the survivor. Okay, so another thing is because domestic violence can take several forms. Therapy can help a survivor learn which abuse patterns exist in the relationship and may even uncover how those abuse patterns serve to keep them in the relationship. So the abuse patterns, like the counselor will help you figure that out. This was her first boyfriend. This was her first. So she's feeling guilty. She's feeling like, did I mess up? She did nothing. I said, all you did was love the guy, and there's nothing you did. So the feeling of guilt, the counselor can help you remember that you're not you do not have to feel guilty. You do not need to fear the sadness over the state of their relationship, of your relationship, and all that stuff. Whatever their feelings, group or individual, domestic violence therapy will enable them to normalize their feelings as they process them. So all the feeling of guilt, fear, he's saying I did this, he's saying I used his family, he's saying this happened, and all that. The counselor will help you. Now, group domestic. Now, this is a good one. To me, this is what I did the most. Individual counseling I did, but the one I did most was the group counseling. I went to the I went to the shelter, and then after I left, no, before I went to the shelter, I started attending an outreach service, domestic service, and I was doing that kind of on my own secretly. And I would go there and listen to women talk about their spouses and what they were going through. And let me tell you, I started realizing I wasn't alone. And then during the time that they would be talking and people would be trying to help them, or the counselor would be talking to, I would be learning. I'd be like, maybe that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. So group counseling is good to me to begin with. If you live in an area whereby you can call the domestic abuse shelter in your area and ask them if they have group counseling, which I think now because of COVID they may be kind of very minimal, but maybe they may do it on Zoom. I'm not sure, but that was a good thing because you're listening to people. It's kind of like AA meetings. You go there, you talk about uh, what happened, what's going on, and everything in your life, and you have support. You meet friends, you meet people who I met. Some of my best friends right now, or people I've known, they're people I met during my group counselings about 20 years, 15 years ago, I think. Yeah. So building on the network of support, the last and the best benefit of domestic violence counseling is that survivors will be able to develop a safety plan for living. That is important. um, Going to counseling will help you. Group counseling, you'll start learning, what should I keep, what documents should I keep, where should I go if he chases me tomorrow, because sometimes you're not ready to leave, but when you go home he hits you and the police comes and you're forced to leave, what you gonna do? So you'll end up learning to do a safety plan. You'll end up learning the importance of a safety plan. So, and also, it is your witness, and they can witness to your abuse. You hear that? Counselors will write, like, especially when you're planning to file for VAWA, a counselor will write down the information that you tell her. She'll be able to detect if you're saying the truth and write it down, your emotional state, what you went through. So, and you'll be doing it in a very comfortable place, just talking to them. So that's a good way, because a counselor can write a letter when you're filing for your VAWA, and that'll help you. Now, group counseling can also be beneficial. Attending a group session can allow survivors to connect with others who have been through similar situations. That's it for me today. Sorry about that. We got disconnected, but hey, remember to join our Facebook group, ADIPA, which is a Facebook. The confidentiality is very important for us in that group. We make sure that we keep your confidence, and you do not need to like or anything. If you think you're in danger, if you think you have a relative in the group, you just don't need to. You do not need to just read the information, just learn. You don't need to expose yourself out there. You can join the group, because that group is not only for domestic abuse survivors and victims. Is also for family and friends. A lot of the women there in that group, they are not in abusive relationships. So otherwise, you guys have a good day. This is my first broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, so I don't know how it's gonna come out. Maybe I need to look at the camera better. I don't know how the lighting is gonna come out, but I'll watch it later and see. You guys have a good day. This is Lillian Stevens. You guys have a good day. Bye bye.